One thing I always loved about DoorDash is half pay. We've all know it. We all love it, right? What if it's changing a little bit right here on the Gig Grind Report?
Get grind report. Let's ride. Let's go. News from the streets. Now you already know. Click in to notice the gig life flow. Get grind report. Your daily show.
All right, guys. So, what I mean by changing, it could be just almost the same, but a little bit different. I'll explain. I'll go into it. I'll go into what DoorDash is calling this new thing and why they're calling it that way right here. But first, I need you to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below. I would greatly appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. We're going to go right into this one. We're going to go right into this one with a hand. We're getting first hand of this dasher with, support, talking to customer support about this exact same thing that we're talking about right here. Let's go. All right. This says, hi, I got to get closer. I can't see. Hi, I need to cancel the order I am waiting for. The store is unavailable to make both milkshakes on the order because the ice cream machine is broken. There are no available substitutions. And Dasher Support says, I'm sorry you had to deal with this. The same old thing. They hate when we deal with things. I'm sorry you had to deal with this level of issue. Let me check the details and help you out. The order has been removed from your account and you'll receive the proportional payment. Proportional payment, not the half pay. The order was $8. He's not immediately getting $4. Proportional payment. And the Dasher says, what the heck? What is proportional payment? We've always received half payment for canceled orders. What gives, right? Same thing that I'll be saying is what the freak gives. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing, guys. Proportional payment doesn't necessarily mean negative, that you're going to always be getting far less. It doesn't mean that at all. He's going to break it down. This support agent is going to break this down for you for this proportional payment right here. I can explain how it works in general, but the exact formula and percentages behind half pay aren't something I can share. That's kind of like, mysterious. What you can rely on is it's an adjustment meant to partially compensate you for time, effort when you can't complete the delivery for certain cancellation or closure. The final amount you see can differ from a simple half pay that's shown, or half of the base pay, because it's calculated by internal rules that can include multiple factors, including distance, time, not just the straight 50% cut of the number. Makes sense. When you think about it, it really does make sense, right? Because an order that is canceled, say like if I picked up an order, I got an order popped up from Target, right? I'm driving there and the customer cancels the order in 2 seconds. Should I get half pay on that? I mean, you know what I mean? Like it depends on the time and effort put into the order. With the proportional, which means the proportion of the pay you will receive. So here you say. So it isn't as simple as always half of the offer amount or always half of the base pay. If you have a specific canceled order you think paid incorrectly, tell me the restaurant name and the exact date, and I can look at the specific case for you. So it's like a case by case kind of a basis, and they're going to give you proportional pay for those instances. Like I said, I don't see it as inherently bad immediately. I just don't. I see this as them kind of covering their own butt in a lot of situations, or in some situations may help you out a little more. I mean, it depends on those situations. Now, I did see this is on Reddit. I did see this guy here. All right, this guy says, I didn't pay attention to the wording they use until reading the other post. I had noticed it wasn't half anymore. However, I got a higher amount 2 times I canceled. So I don't care what the term was used. So the higher amount was a proportional pay, which is why it was more than half. This is what I'm saying. When you hear that half pay is gone, we automatically assume that it means that we're going to be getting less money. Sometimes we're for sure going to get less money because we did less of the work. But if you've gotten to the restaurant, if you've waited amount of time and then the order was canceled, the proportional pay should be a little more. That's just what it's just what proportional means. It's in the term. It's in the definition of proportional. It should mean that, like, depending on the time, because half is got to the restaurant, right? Immediately, half. Because you got to get to the restaurant and you got to get to the delivery. 50% of the order of the distance traveled, right? Getting to the restaurant, waiting, and then it canceling should be proportionally more in a lot of cases. And this guy said, just like I was saying, it's basically a new security feature because people wore out unassigned as a way to avoid losing AR points. So, for example, if you were offered $20 for 10 miles and actually drove the 10 miles to the store and say that they lost power or a customer canceled the order, then that case you would have gotten $10. But if the same scenario happened, but you're only 2 miles from the store, you'd get a percentage. This makes complete sense to me. I know it don't make sense to most. Well, I mean, not to most, but to a lot of people, because we're so used to the half pay. But this makes perfect sense to me while they were go to proportional pay. I love DoorDash because I knew what it was going to be. You know what I mean? Now we don't know. Now there's some kind of formula that they use, and we just kind of have to deal with it. You know what I mean? We just kind of have to deal with it. This hasn't rolled out everywhere, of course. They always start a little bit here, sprinkle a little bit over there, dab a little bit up here. Hasn't started everywhere. But you guys will be seeing proportional pay in your area in the coming months. Leave it in the comments below. What do you guys think about this? Are you on the same wavelength as me and don't think it's that bad because, it's proportional to the amount of time you put in, right? Just leave it in the comments below. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, YouTube really does think that you should watch this video. So just go ahead and do that. Peace.
I'm on that gig, crime report, talk the game and the truth. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Spark, we making those moves. Every half try to play us, but we still push through. Grind gang in the building.